What's up, guys? It's CG. So this is going to be a thorough review of Alexandria II by Xerjoff. First, I'm going to share data, what over 2,000 voters had to say about various aspects of the fragrance. Then I'm going to share what AI had to say about the scent profile. My wife and I are going to share our first impressions of it. And finally, I'm going to go away, wear it, and come back and give you my overall opinion on it. Without further ado, let's get this started. Alright, so in the top we have rosewood and lavender, cinnamon, apple. In the heart we have lily of the valley, Bulgarian rose, cedarwood. And in the base we have sandalwood, musk, Laotian ouds, amber, and vanilla. The quality score or overall rating was a 4.25 out of 5. For gender, most people voted it unisex, more male or male, indicating it's a masculine fragrance. For occasion, the highest votes went to night out, evening, and the lowest went to leisure. That indicates that this is probably a formal nighttime scent. As far as longevity goes, most votes went to long-lasting or eternal, meaning it probably lasts a really long time. For sillage, projection, performance, scent bubble, it's considered to be strong and enormous. So this is probably a very strong, very long-lasting fragrance. As far as the most appropriate season goes, most votes went to fall and winter, so it's probably not for the spring or summer or hotter days. What Google AI had to say about the scent profile is, imagine this: you peel a juicy green apple, sprinkle it with some warm cinnamon, and then take a whiff of fresh lavender from your grandma's garden. That's the first impression of Alexandria II. Later on, it gets a bit more mysterious and grown up, like smoky incense and a velvety rose wrapped in a warm blanket. This one is very powdery. Like, I'm surprised because I don't remember reading much on just how powdery this is, and it's like makeup bag powdery. Also getting like a soapiness to it, and definitely an oud, or like kind of like a stinky wood that's coming with it. I mean, it's really nice, interesting. Just off the bat, I feel like this is something that's not going to be very versatile, very gentleman, very old-fashioned, and kind of has like a weird sweetness to it. I'm going to give this one maybe a 7, but you know, it's kind of like objectively I could say it's a 10, very well blended, put together and everything, but subjectively for me, like it's not something I could tell already off the bat that I'm really going to want to wear.
Okay, it's not like it's not masculine. It is masculine, but this is a different type of guy. This is more like a, I don't know, like a more natural, almost like a hippie kind of guy, but it is masculine. Just very, very different personality, I think, would fit for this. But very good. I give it like a 8.5.
All right, let me start off by saying that this is a lot more powdery than I anticipated, or really red. So I might be crazy here, but this is powdery, and I don't mean like fresh baby powder like you get with, I get that with like Burberry Brit for men, or I get that with Xerjoff 40 knots. There's like a fresh like baby powder, but then there's like powdery as in like makeup bag powder that I get more from Givenchy Gentleman or Dior Homme Parfum, Dior Homme Intense. That category of powder is what I'm talking about. This had a lot more of that than I was anticipating from reading about it. And I would say, of course, it don't smell like Dior Homme Parfum, but it's in that category. Like, I would think somebody that really just can't stand those types of lipsticky makeup bag fragrances, which there are those people out there, are really just not going to like this, because this is actually a more challenging version of all of those. It's definitely more challenging than Dior Homme Parfum. And what makes it challenging for me is the oud combination with that powder. So you got this makeup bag powder, and below that sits an oud. Now, I'm going to be a little bit specific here with the oud, because there's tons of different types of ouds. There's a site, Oudict, which is like for oud addicts, that people that purely just collect that one note. They collect it in attars or like oils, and there's different ouds from everywhere. And even in the West, we got all these different companies. They have their own interpretation of oud. Oud is like a blanket statement for Middle Eastern wood, pretty much. So I would say the oud in here reminds me of the oud that is interpreted by Tom Ford's oud wood. Now I'm just talking about just that note. It doesn't smell like Tom Ford oud wood, but that stinky wood note, that kind of stinky, almost like a moist wood, is under this powdery makeup bag stuff. And then throughout the composition, there's almost like a Coca-Cola sweetness to it. And that's the only way I could describe it. Is I've gotten this from 40 Knots. I've gotten this actually from the parfums from Dior, Fahrenheit Les Parfums, Dior Homme Parfum. But there's almost like a sense that the sweetness is going kind of in that direction. It doesn't smell like Coca-Cola. But if you really smell it and think about Coca-Cola, you see that it's not really a vanilla sweetness or a chocolate sweetness. It's going into this Coca-Cola sweetness with the makeup bag powder, with the kind of stinky oud. And if you could picture all three of those things together, you have a pretty good idea of what Alexandria II smells like. But of course, communication is extremely limited. And the only way to truly know what this smells like is to sample it. And I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments that are going to disagree with my interpretation of it. I think it's a creative fragrance. It's very artistic. It's very good. But this is definitely one I would only wear for myself. Like, projecting this is not going to boost my confidence. It's because it's almost like something that, for definitely a very mature person, but almost like a bookworm guy with like a Sherlock pipe and a top hat and a suit. Like it's really that kind of out of place, classy type of scent. But at the same time, I find it very interesting and therapeutic and nice. But would I pay like the crazy prices that they charge for a 50 mil? Absolutely not, because I wouldn't even use that much. This is a evening fragrance on a rainy day to spray just to enjoy the art of it, for me at least. I wouldn't want to give off this powdery vibe. And I like Dior Homme Parfum and I like Dior Homme Intense. So I'm not saying it's really like those, but in that category, just the entry level to even wanting to begin to like this, I would think you would have to like those first. Because this is pretty challenging and it's pretty powdery and makeup baggy for me. If I were to rank it just on my appreciation of the blend and how well it's executed, of course, objectively, a lot of what Xerjoff does is a 10. Subjectively, for me, I'm going to give it like a 6. That's just, I would never really want to wear this out. And it's really formal, like hella formal, hella posh, hella dark. It's too much. It's just too much for me. So yeah, I hope you guys got some from this video. Be sure to check out my Xerjoff playlist up there and subscribe for future content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.